We want to install our scanner onto the OBD2 connector of the vehicle. Now, by law on OBD2, the connector is going to be located somewhere near the steering column area. It may take a minute or two to find the connector. On this vehicle here, okay, it's right here on the bottom left side of the dash. Another nice feature about OBD2 is there's only one way the connector can plug in. Let's go ahead and connect our code reader. Okay, now we have the OBD2 scanner connected. Something else to mention, if this was an OBD1 vehicle, the diagnostic port could be several different places, including under the hood. With the scanner connected, the next step, we want to go ahead and turn on the ignition. You don't want to start the vehicle, just turn it on. That'll give the scanner a chance to communicate to the onboard computer. Now our first option is to read the codes. That's what we want to do, is read the codes. So we'll press enter. And right now the code reader is linking to the onboard computer. Okay, there's our code, P0342. A P0342 is scrolling at below the code is telling us that we have a problem with our camshaft sensor. Now that we have our codes, we'll go back to our information system and see what steps we need to follow to help determine what the cause of the problem is. The code reader gave us the code numbers P0342. There are several places to find the description for the codes. The first place is your local AutoZone store. They have the code numbers in their system and can look them up very quickly. The next place is the vehicle repair manual. The manual will list each code number and definition. The third place is online. You can use a search engine to search for OBD2 trouble codes. Another great electronic source is ALLDATA DIY. We'll talk more about that option in a minute. Now that you have the codes retrieved, you can begin your basic diagnostic procedures to try to isolate the exact problem with your vehicle. A few words of caution though. Retrieving trouble codes is only the first step in a complete and accurate diagnosis of the vehicle's problem. The temptation when you see a trouble code may be to start replacing parts related to the trouble code. For example, some code descriptions may indicate a high or low voltage reading by a certain sensor, like the oxygen sensor or the throttle position sensor. This doesn't automatically mean the sensor is bad. It could be the sensor reading is only a symptom of a different problem. So you have to diagnose the cause, not the symptom. Your vehicle repair manual is a great place to turn to for information during your diagnosis. Many systems are explained in detail in the repair manual. Also, the manual will include wiring diagrams that can be helpful in determining the root cause of your problem. I also want to mention another great source of information, ALLDATA DIY. ALLDATA is a company that has been providing diagnostic and repair information to professional shops for many years. And now they're offering vehicle-specific diagnostic and repair information to customers. The website is alldatadiy.com. You can purchase a subscription for your vehicle, and it contains just about all the information you'd find in a repair manual, including wiring diagrams and OBD2 code descriptions. ALLDATA will also contain good diagnostic techniques to help you track down the root cause of your check engine light. I use ALLDATA quite a bit, so I'll show you how it'll help us here today. And finally, if you reach a point where you aren't sure how to proceed in your diagnosis, it's best to stop and take the vehicle to a certified mechanic. Okay, we have our trouble codes retrieved. Now we need to focus on identifying the cause of the problem. The code description on our rodeo tells us that our fault area is the camshaft position sensor. To help us diagnose the cause, we'll turn to ALLDATA.
Once you have logged on to the ALLDATA system, click on the link for your vehicle, and then click on All Diagnostic Trouble Codes. Now select Codes by Number and find your code. Okay, here's the information that comes up for fault code P0342. At the top of the screen is a wiring diagram, and underneath that you'll find diagnostic aids. The aids are used to cross-reference information that can help you locate the problem faster. For instance, here it is telling us that the camshaft position sensor shares a ground connection with the crankshaft position sensor. So if you also got a fault code for that sensor, there's a good chance that the ground connection is bad. Another cross-reference shows that if the scanner also indicated a fault with a fuel injector, the power supply would be suspect. We didn't have a fault code for either the crankshaft sensor or a fuel injector, so both the ground and power supply are probably okay. The diagnostic tree is further down the page. It's just a list of simple yes or no questions where each answer guides you to another step in the troubleshooting process. By going through the procedure step by step, you can find the cause of the actual problem, which may or may not be the component that the trouble code points to.
Well, we know we have a problem with the camshaft sensor, but before we just actually replace the sensor, there's a couple of things we want to look for. One of the most common problems for setting a code like this is the connections going to the sensor. So that's where we want to start. We want to go ahead and check the wiring harness going to the sensor, check the plug, make sure none of the terminals are damaged or bent or even pushed out, and also check the terminals on the sensor itself. We want to check the wiring harness going to the sensor, make sure the wires aren't chafed or cut or pinched. So that's our next step. We want to go back to the vehicle and take a good look at the wiring harness going to the sensor.